And one of the other things that we do is when we get in and we realize that, oh, the man is there, for the man to understand how to care for the wife.
Right, I was going to ask, because they have to be part of this process. So
for the man to understand.
Being advocate for these women.
Exactly.
And creating this awareness is the key.
Yes. So one of the things that you mentioned is we try to have a pep talk with the husband.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Our Lives Narratives. This platform's goal is to continue to bring the lived experiences, stories of people right here in Alberta, of the tremendous work that they're doing in order to uplift you and inspire you. We do encourage, of course, we acknowledge and appreciate your time with us as we are episodes. However, we hope that these messages are resonating with each and every one of you guys. And as the need arises, please make sure to refer back to this information. Because at the end of the day, it's one thing to show up and listen and be entertained. But the ultimate goal is to transform your life. So thank you for being here. For our first-time viewers and listeners, we acknowledge your presence here and thank you for joining us. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you will have notifications of our episodes that are coming out. Again, we appreciate you and it means the world to us. Thank you. Today's episode is about building a nonprofit organization. We know that comes with challenges and success stories. So today, to have this conversation is someone that has been in this business for a long time. Even before she thought about registering her organization, she's been involved in doing charity work right here in Alberta and all the way back in Nigeria. She is kind and compassionate. She is a governance analyst with specialty in information and record analysis with over 30 years experience in oil and gas, bank and telecommunications sector. She had her education in civil law and business administration from Nigeria. She pursued training in childcare and disability management with International Career School, Canada. Furthermore, went to University of Lethbridge to improve her knowledge in human resource management, which helped in setting up and establishing her nonprofit organization. She is the founder of Hand Lifting Heart Initiative Society with a mission to support women and children at various stages of life. She's widely traveled and engages in a lot of other organizations, including the Yoruba Foundation of Calgary, where she previously served as Assistant Social Director and now the Assistant Humanitarian Director. You'll help me welcome our guest for today, Clare Jaguna.
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here. I know you're on a speaking engagement in Edmonton, yes, and you volunteering some of your time here on Our Lives Narrative podcast. Yes. It means a lot to us.
Thank you very much.
All right. So in addition to your bio, just tell viewers a little bit more about yourself.
Oh, a little bit more about myself?
Yes, something that you would like viewers to know that I have not already mentioned in your bio.
Oh, well, maybe
before we get into
the nitty-gritty of things.
Exactly, the goal of the day.
Claire is a very friendly person, always willing to help anyone I come across. I always believe that meeting the next person is not by an accident. There's always a purpose by which God actually makes our paths to cross. So I'm somebody who is always willing to know the next person, how I can support you, how I can help you, and how I can actually move you to the next level of your life. So that's Clare Jaguna.
That's amazing. That's setting the stage for what for your organization. So I already mentioned your charity work started way back, even
Yes.
before you thought of registering.
Yes.
So what inspired the Hands Lifting Heart initiative, and why that name? It's such a profound statement.
Well, 2016, actually, I started Hands Lifting Hearts under that name.
Okay.
But before then, have been helping any immigrant I come across, especially Black people.
Yeah.
I just walk up to them. Once I know you're an African or I see you as a Black person,
Yeah.
and I know that you're a new immigrant, I walk up to them and ask them if they need support, if they need any help. So many of them I've helped to help them in streamlining their resumes, making sure that the job they're looking out for, I tailor their resumes to that particular job. I coach them on the particular job that if I have experience.
Yeah.
One is document control. I've had to train people who were like, oh, I've never done it before. And I'm like, no, if you don't want to do it as a career, just start on it, because I can easily help you to get into that, because that was my line. And I can easily help you to get doing that. And if you want to change down the line, but you're looking for a job and you don't know which way to go to, I'm here to support you if you're willing. And sometimes I meet them, they're coming from Nigeria, from anywhere, and they have banking experience, just like I had. I had banking experience back in Nigeria, and then when I got here, I worked with about 3-4 different banks. So I have the banking experience. And when they come and say, oh, we actually worked in Nigeria as a banker, but I've sent out my resumes and they are not calling me. And then I call them, let me see your resume. Let me see how you've done it.
Yeah.
And then when I see it, I'm like, no, that's not what they're looking for. So I give them my resume. I said, you know what? Take this resume, do whatever you like with it, and let's see if you're going to get response. And when they get response, and then I coach them through interview and tell them this is what they're looking for. The same thing I was doing for those who said, oh, they can actually do document control. I've had to train somebody right inside my car on document control.
Yeah.
And then I jump at the train station, train them inside the car, jump on the train and go to school downtown when I was in the University of Lethbridge. So, I've kind of helped a lot of people, friends, and people that I don't even know that I just meet in Superstore. And I'm like, you know what? When you are in no man's land like this, and I see somebody speaking my language, you are my brother. When I see somebody with my own color, you are my sister, because I know that you are here to have a better life. And if I can support you to make it a smoother journey, I would definitely do that. I've had a lot of my other friends who actually fought me for giving out my resume to people. They're like, let them go through the same stress that you went through. I'm like, no, God must have placed me in their path to make their journey to be smoother than what I had. Why will I let somebody suffer?
Oh, so basically that passion of helping people.
That passion of helping was always there.
Right.
But then I now thought, oh, okay, what do I need to do to give back to my people? At that time, I was not even thinking about Canada. I was not at all. I was thinking about back home in Nigeria.
Right.
And trust me, while I was thinking, God has a way of bringing something out of nothing when you least expect it. And then in a dream, actually, he came to me in a dream and he said, look after my people. And in that dream, I saw women and children running past me. They were naked and they were screaming and yelling. And there's this white garments man who up to now, I don't know how his face was, but he was all dressed in pure white and he was standing right beside me in that dream. And he said, look after my children. And when I woke up, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
And then I tried as much because it kept coming back to me.
Mm-hmm.
It kept coming back to me while I was awake. And I kept thinking, I said, did I watch a movie
Yeah.
that made me to have that dream?
Yeah.
Or some, but I realized I didn't watch a movie. So I just,
No.
I brushed it aside. And then exactly a week after, I had the same dream with no difference. And I'm like, okay, God is speaking to me. Who are these people that are his children that I need to look after? I was already working in the church as an usher.
Okay.
I was already a leader in the women's group. So I'm already doing something. So I was surprised. Then, like I mentioned, God has a way of bringing something out.
Absolutely.
And then I had somebody that reached out to me from Nigeria and said, oh, you're in Canada. Can you help some of these people? Because I know that you are always helping. And because your dad too was always a philanthropist. My dad was a huge philanthropist in the Catholic Church those days. So I said, okay, what do they need? And he said, oh, there are these people who are actually displaced. And I'm wondering if you could support them with some money. I said, no, how much do I have them going to support? I said, tell me their stories. What do they need? And he told me the story. I said, oh, this is what God is saying. So I said, sure, I'm going to do it. So I started Hands Lifting Hearts. The way that name came about was that, how do I lift these people?
It's nice.
So that was the first thing that came to my mind. How do I lift them? So the way I did my hand that day was, how do I lift them?
Wow.
So I said, Hands Lifting Hearts. So that's how Hands Lifting Hearts came about. So many people always marvel at how I coined that, but that was how it came about. And I now started looking after women and children in Nigeria who are displaced from their homes, either by religious insurgency, by domestic violence, by poverty, or natural disaster. And what were we doing? We give them clothes, shoes, books, bags, toys that I get from Canada, and I ship down to Nigeria. Schools that were not destroyed, that doesn't have libraries. I set up libraries for them with books and computers that I got from Canada. And schools with children who don't have good uniforms, we provide school uniforms for them. And children, women who are of puberty, we give them lectures on how to keep yourself safe, clean, hygienic, and then we give them women hygiene stuff. And then we try to empower their mothers, but that was very difficult because my focus was actually in the northern part of the country where you have the Muslims. And it was difficult for us to break in to empower the women because I think it has to do with religion and it has to do with the culture that the men are always the head of the family. Why would you want to empower my wife? So that when you empower them, then you are taking my authority away and giving it to the woman. So it was very difficult. And then we stopped doing that. And another thing we did then in Nigeria is a program that I called Adopt a Nigerian Child, which actually came about not because I wanted to do it, but somebody in Calgary reached out to me and said, I know you help people a lot. And there's this little girl who got raped, 7-year-old girl who got raped. And in the process, the mom was trying to fight the rapist and she got killed.
Oh my God.
So she had a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old younger sister. So they reached out to me and said, oh, can I help? What can I do? And I said, oh, what kind of a story is that? This is not about helping. This is about getting justice for this girl. So, and then I looked for my colleagues who were lawyers back in Nigeria. Unfortunately, one of my junior in secondary school happens to be the director in the particular place where that happened. And I asked her, I said, this is what happened. And she was like, what? And then she took up that case so that she can make sure that the girl gets justice. But what we now did was that we took her from the village where she was raised, and then we took her to her auntie in the city. Gave her clothing and books and toys that I got shipped down. And then we paid for school fees, we paid her school uniform. And then we actually got a job for the auntie and the uncle so that they'll be able to take care of the 2 kids. So then we were like, okay, this is something that we can actually continue to do. Then the name came out as Adopt a Nigerian Child.
Wow.
Yes.
Just from that heart of compassion.
Yes.
People are just, finding Clare.
So that has been going on, doing that for Nigeria populace and all of that. We've actually done so many outreaches. I'll probably say more than 25 in different places in Nigeria.
Wow.
And then shortly after COVID, I realized that I needed to give back to my community here.
Right here
in Alberta. And I didn't actually know what to do.
Okay.
Because, I've been doing, here and there for people, but I was like, I need to actually have a niche. I need to see what people really need that has not been, been touched or done. 2009, early 2009, I lost an 8-month-old pregnancy. And I realized that African men, they don't really understand the pain that the women go through, right? So my husband was like, yeah, just move on, you know? But it was very difficult. And then I realized that I was mourning my child, my loss. But the doctor think I had depression. So he gave me antidepressant, of which I had used for 3 months before I even knew it was antidepressant. And then I checked the medication. I saw it was antidepressant. I'm like, no, Africans don't have depression. I said, no, African does that. We don't have depression. So I stopped using the medication for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, I went to meet my doctor, who happens to be a South African, but a white. I said, doctor, Africans don't have depression. Why do you give me antidepressants? And he looked at me and said, yeah, Africans, you've forgotten I'm an African. I said, no, you are an adopted African. You are a white one. So I told him I've actually stopped using the medication. And he said, no, Claire, don't do that. You're so stubborn. I said, you know what? 2 weeks. And I'm good. I'm fine. I can talk freely about my loss without breaking down. I can encourage people, who have gone through it or who are pregnant or looking for a child without breaking down, without crying. And then I was just like, you know what? Maybe this is where God is leading me. Let me start to advocate. Let me start to support people who might have lost a baby or who are pregnant that need support. And then 2021, May 2021, I actually registered with Government of Alberta and Lifting Hearts Initiative Society.
Wow. The birth
of
this beautiful, beautiful organization. And I get excited learning about all of, your work, because as a healthcare professional, it's part of the discharge process. You have to have a well-supported environment for these individuals to go to. Otherwise, they will end up back in the healthcare system. So what your organization is doing, let's get into it. That's for my little research. So let's hear from the horse's mouth. So what is Hands Lifting Hearts? What kind of programs do you guys have? And what activities? How are you guys supporting these women and children?
So we have 2 things. We have the service, which is the main focus. And when I mean service, I mean the support we're giving our women, which is a little bit different from the programs that we run. I'm going to explain both of them.
Sounds good. This is all about that. So let's get
into it. So the service that we actually provide starts from what we call the pre-labor. So the pre-labor involves where you get referrals to my organization. Probably you're trying to get pregnant. We connect you to a gynecologist who will look after you and support you in getting pregnant. Or you're looking to adopt a child. We actually support you in that. And those are in two ways. We have partnership with an organization in Nigeria, for example. If you're in Nigeria and you want to adopt a child from Nigeria, we start the processing for you from here. And then we work with the Lagos state government and Ondo state government to see how we can work with the social department over there and get you a child.
Wow.
And then if you are now pregnant and you get referred to us, then one, if you are a new immigrant, the first question we ask you is, what country are you from? You're from Sierra Leone. All right. Do you want us to connect you to a Sierra Leonean doctor to be your doctor? And the reason is because you as an immigrant, you're coming in and you want to make Canada your new home.
Right.
And you want to start on a good foundation. Already you're pregnant in a new country. You don't even know how to navigate the system yet. Probably you don't even have a friend or a family that you can easily call on.
Right.
And you get referred to my organization. And that's where we have the African Motherhood Village Support.
I like that.
So you come in and immediately you're pregnant and we ask you those questions. I pair you up with an experienced mom in my organization who they are volunteers, but they are all experienced mom, of which Mama Betty is one of them.
Ooh.
Oh no. So once I pair you up with them, they become your adopted mother or your auntie.
Wow, that's amazing.
So they are the person you go to. They are the ones you call on. Oh, Mama, my baby is sick. My baby has cold. Mama, I'm going to the hospital. They are the one that will rise up and go with you to the hospital. I can't do it alone. And these women, we've already trained them. They are experienced nurses, experienced social workers, and experienced mothers and grandmothers. So they are providing that culturally appropriate support.
That's a key.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why it was difficult for me to actually get the buy-in of the community outside the Black, because they don't really understand that African village support thing, where, okay, the whole village looks after you.
Yeah.
Back home, if you're pregnant, everybody looks after you.
True.
So that's what we're trying to give to our women here.
Wow.
So when they come like that, we introduce them to the doctors and we make sure that we take them to their appointments if need be. That's when they're pregnant. And then another thing we do is we have what we call the antenatal classes.
Okay.
Antenatal classes is where all the pregnant moms come together.
Yeah.
We have Zumba dance, we have yoga, we sit down in groups and everybody share their stories, what they are feeling and all of that. You know, the way we do back home.
Yes.
And they compare notes and then we foster new relationships. So that you have a buddy, you have friends who you can easily call up to. It's not everything you need to go to the doctor for.
That's right. I agree.
Right? So we foster that new relationship amongst them. And then when the time comes for you to go to the hospital to have your baby, that's where we have our expats moms, and those that must have paired you with.
Okay.
Once you call and say, oh, my water broke, or oh, I'm feeling pain. The first question is, how is the pain? Because you are calling somebody like Mama Betty, who is an experienced nurse.
For over 30 years.
For over 30 years. And so they will ask you some questions and they will tell you to go to the hospital and they will be with you.
Wow.
From start to finish. I have seen some of my volunteers who have spent 2 days straight in the hospital. With a woman in labor, right? Because she doesn't want a C-section. And that is one of the things that we do, is to make sure that if the woman is willing to go through that pain, there's no need for you to cut them. Maybe I'm somebody who wants to have 5 children and you can only cut me 2 times or 3 times. That means I'm restricted to my 3 kids. Or maybe I want to have 5 or 6. Maybe I don't even want to go through the pain of being cut.
Right.
But if our women are with them in the labor room, they distract them from the pain. They hold their hands, they rub their backs,
Right.
They distract them in so many
All
ways.
those techniques.
All those techniques.
Right.
And
Wow.
then at the end of the day, they push and the baby is out.
That's amazing.
And once the baby is out and the mom calls me or another of the volunteers, oh, we have the baby, and send us the picture, somebody is on the way with what we call in Nigeria pepper soup, of which is something that we usually give our women, depending on where you come from.
Right.
The first food to give a new mom,
Yeah.
to support lactation and healing.
We
bring that to them in the hospital. So that's where the labor support comes in.
Wow.
And then the after labor, when the baby is here, depending on when the baby gets taken home, we go home to clean the house before the baby arrives.
Wow.
And then we have a meal plan for the mom for 2 weeks. And if she's with the family, we have a meal plan for the family, so that the new mom is not going to the kitchen immediately she gets home. African men, they don't still understand. So I've seen a case where
African men, hope you guys are listening.
I've seen a case where the new mom got home, and the husband said, oh, I'm hungry. Since you went to the hospital, I've not eaten. And the lady called me and she was crying. I said, you mean your husband said since you went to have the baby, he has not eaten? She said, yeah. I said, tell him he's not hungry. If he was hungry, he will find something to eat. And the lady was crying. I said, okay, you need somebody to come and be with you? She said, yes. Yeah. So I sent one of the volunteers. And one of the other things that we do is when we get in and we realize that, oh, the man is there, for the man to understand how to care for the wife.
Right, I was going to ask, because they have to be part of this process. So
for the man to understand.
Being advocate for these women.
Exactly.
And creating this awareness is the key.
Yes. So one of the things that you mentioned is we try to have a pep talk with the husband, how you need to care for your wife so that she doesn't break down mentally and physically. And one other thing we always tell them, if this woman breaks down and she's not able to care for this baby, the baby will be taken away from you.
That's not
so
good.
Is that what you want? So you better do the needful.
Right.
You have to look after this woman. You have to support her. She's waking up in the night to breastfeed the baby. Make sure you're supporting. Even if you can't be 100% awake, make sure at least you encourage her. Don't turn your back on her and say, that is a woman's affair. No, this is about the family, especially in a no man's land where everybody is busy. There are bills to be paid. So every other friend you think that you have, they need to work. So you need to support this woman. Not until now did I realize how significant that this mental health issue is. I wasn't really paying too much of an attention.
Right.
But now it's very, very important that the man understands that the woman cannot afford to have a mental health breakdown. You can't afford that. So we always tell the man when we get home and teach them. And then one of the things that we do is we visit every other day to bathe the baby and to bathe the mom, to make sure the mom is producing enough milk, to make sure the baby is eating right, to make sure she's taking a rest, and most importantly, that there is no domestic abuse. So if we notice anything in behavioral change, then we quickly step in.
Postpartum depression is real.
It's very real.
And that's,
it's very real. And that's why we make sure that the volunteer visit every other day. 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, we're with you, sitting down, just supporting you. Sometimes we could help you to do little chores. We look after the baby for you. We carry the baby while you rest, or we sit down, watch TV together, just to make sure that support is there.
Yeah. So at what point in time do you
leave them?
Yeah, let go.
We never do.
Okay.
We never do. And the reason being that we are family focused, not just pregnant mommies and baby focused.
Wow.
So should there be along the line, but it's just that there are different support that we give at every stage.
Right.
So for example, if we notice maybe an early child disability, we step in and support, and we call the right appropriate people to support.
Yeah.
We are not, we have doctors, we have nurses, but we don't provide the
Of
medical.
course.
Exactly.
So you
We're
would
just
do
known for profit.
provide the knowledge and point them
And then
to
advocate for
their
them.
rate.
And yes, we've had to advocate for a lot of our women who felt that, oh, I'm in Canada now, whatever the system says, whatever the doctor says,
It's fine or no?
it's fine. And no. I always tell them, give them my own example that I was told I had depression and I said no, and I stopped using the medication.
Right.
It's not everything about medication. And it's not every postpartum depression that has to go through medication.
It
could just be that you're lonely. You need somebody
Right.
to talk to.
Right.
Right? It could just be you have questions that need answers to.
Absolutely.
And it kept bothering you and it kept weighing you down.
Right. Right. It's about getting that knowledge.
Yes.
Right. Looking out for those signs.
Looking out
like you
for
said,
those
there's
signs.
baby blues in the first couple months.
Yes.
It's different. There's hormones going on. So definitely having that support system, you know, when you pay attention to those signs, what to do,
Yes.
right? Who to talk to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So those are the
amazing.
services
That
that
you-
we provide. And then when it comes to programs, we have trainings for our women,
Okay.
both the volunteers and the new moms. We have different kind of training for them. Some of them right now, we are seeing how we can work together with CRIEC and give them some basic tools. Some of them who wants to go into entrepreneurship. Some of them who wants to go right into labor, to workforce.
Wow.
How we can prepare them. What do they need to understand? Like, for example, back home, we prepare CV, curriculum vitae. Here, they prepare resume,
Right.
which is a little bit different. So we're trying to see how we can take them through all different trainings to prepare them
Wow.
for the job market. For example, that we have some of them who are actually refugees and they still have babies who cannot work right now. So one thing that some of them are doing is to have a business.
Okay.
Some of them are making hair, very nice one. Some of them have started making children's clothes and doing some mending here and there just to make money.
Yeah.
I have 4 of them who are from the same country. They speak the same language. They put their
That's
resources
nice.
together. Now they make baby food
Wow.
for other women in the community and they sell.
That's amazing.
Yes. So
Talk
those
about
are the things.
empowerment.
Talks about,
Yeah,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. And we make sure that all these women, no matter how long they've been with the organization, we give them calls like every day. We have people who call them just to check up on them, you know, so that they know they're still part of the system.
Right. It's loaded.
It is loaded.
There's a lot. So
It
in
is.
terms of referrals, where do you get your referrals from? Do you ever say no? Because it sounds like I can just imagine, requests coming all over the place.
Goodness. I honestly wish
And
I
how
can,
you can prioritize
I
the resources.
honestly wish I can
you
say
have.
no, but
Yeah.
when you're providing this kind of care and support, you cannot say no, even if your mandate is different. Like
Right.
my organization, my mandate is African, Black, and Caribbean immigrant pregnant families,
Right.
specifically.
Yeah. But
what do you do when Alberta Health Services calls you and say, we have a Russian who doesn't even speak English
wow.
and we need your support? So I'm not changing my mandate,
Yeah.
or rather we are not changing our mandates. But whoever comes our way who get referred to us, no, we're not going to say no.
That's really
Of
good.
which most of, so now we get referrals from Alberta Children's Hospital. We get
Wow.
referrals from Peter Lloyd Hospital. We get referrals from Foothills Hospital. And we get referrals from Rocky View Hospital. All in Calgary, aside from getting referrals from doctors' offices. And the good thing now, we get referrals from Edmonton.
All right, well, that's that's even better.
I know, right? So we will never say no.
Wow.
It's just that, like you mentioned, we need to prioritize.
Yeah.
If somebody is going into the hospital right away, we know that, yeah, we need to support immediately.
Right.
Or if we get called, like a few days ago, we got a call from Children's Hospital. And the woman I mentioned, she's a Russian.
Mm-hmm.
She has 3 other kids.
Hey.
She's here alone. And she had a C-section.
Oh.
So one, she needs somebody to be with the kids at home.
Mm-hmm.
She needs support in the hospital.
Wow.
Right? So she doesn't speak English. I need to look for a translator or get an app that we try. And I'm like, I can't get an app at home and have conversation with her.
Yeah.
So I need to go to the hospital, see her, know exactly how and which way we can support.
Yeah.
Right? So we prioritize depending on the situation, not first come, first serve,
Right.
but the
Makes
situation.
sense.
But at the same time, there's nobody that get referred to us either by anybody or yourself and say, oh, I actually come across your organization. I've had so many text messages that come in every time. You know, oh, I came across your organization. I'm 30-something weeks pregnant. I just came to Canada and I'm told you can help me. I need baby food. I need clothing. I need baby cots. I need stroller.
Hey,
you know what? I just look at the test and I'm like, where do I start from?
Wow.
Which one should I do? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But I can only do what I can.
That's right.
But I must say I have amazing volunteers.
That's nice.
There are so many volunteers on my group, but I have some who are so amazing that I only need to text them, not even call. I have a woman, she needs this, she needs that, she needs this. Can you support? And once they say yes, I'm just like, take over.
They're good. Wow.
Because I have so many coming
You need
in.
all these hands and eyes and ears out there because you can't do it all.
So that's the way we actually provide services to people. And once we know that, yeah, this is something urgent,
right,
we rise up immediately. I've had a lady who just had a baby and she wasn't producing milk. And she called me at 2 a.m. Crying. And my husband said, are you going? And I said, if I need to. And then he said,
wow.
So I asked the girl, I said, what is going on? You just had your baby. Is the baby okay? Is the baby sick? Are you sick? What's going on? And she said, oh, the baby's been crying. I said, is the baby feeding? And she said, no. I said, so what's going on? Why are you not feeding the baby? The milk is not coming out. I said, okay. There are 2 options for us. Is it that you go to the hospital right away since the baby is not sleeping?
Right.
So we need to be sure the baby is not sick. And then another thing, I could send you a breast pump. Just try to pump it. Put hot towel on your body so that you can start to produce. Right. Have a hot shower so that, you have a warm body and then the milk will start to. But to that 2 a.m., I had to get Uber to take breast pump.
Wow. And you have a full-time job.
Of course, Clare. I have a full-time job.
How do you navigate all of this? Like full-time job, your mom of 3, and like how do you get all of this done?
I don't know.
Wow.
But I just know that I have 2 full-time jobs that needs 100%.
And the organization is around the clock.
Exactly.
It's not 9 to 5.
No, so the other one, 9 to 5, which is my paid job. And then I have the other one, which is 24 hours.
That's amazing. You're a superwoman.
I tried to. I've had to fight my husband so many times for being on my phone. He's like, you're always on your phone. Aww. I said, because I receive messages that I can't allow them to just slip through.
Right.
I have to, because it could be an emergency. And trust me, my phone, people don't believe it. My phone has been on silent probably for the past 10 years.
Wow.
I'm telling you. But my phone is always with me. Always. Because I know it's on silent. So I have to, to make sure that I'm looking at my phone when I need to.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So what is self-care for Clare? Because you have to take care of yourself. right?
I try to take care of myself. I try. And I think one of the things that makes me to take care of myself is I travel a lot.
Okay.
And once I'm outside my comfort zone,
Yeah.
my traveling is not for pleasure though.
Right.
I'm always the same, working, maybe going on conference and all that. But because I'm in a hotel, I make sure that I take good rest.
That's nice.
Sleep, at least if I can.
Yeah.
And probably have few hours away from my phone.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
And because I'm not in the city, so
well,
I
you're
can
not
always
going to Uber over.
Exactly.
Right?
But in terms of maybe getting a spa or doing some exercise, trust me, I've had so many times start exercise and it just bring gel, right? So, but I make sure that when I'm home and I'm not on the move, I could sit down or lie down and watch my African movies 24 hours.
Oh, there you go.
Just
That's
keep
nice.
going. Just keep going. And the reason I do that is because when I was healing from what the doctor called depression, that's one of the things I did to take me out of that zone of mourning. I was watching a lot of African movies and I was seeing myself in those movies. So I kind of got into that routine. And ask me, I don't watch Western movies. No, I don't.
Okay.
If you see me watching a Western movie, maybe those are children movies.
Okay.
But anything outside that is all African.
So Claire finds time for Claire at the bottom line.
At the bottom line, I do.
Because you can give what you don't have, right?
Exactly.
So I'm glad to know that.
Thank you.
So when did you, because you started this idea voluntarily, right?
Yes.
Something you, not in your wildest imagination, you would think would blow up to this proportion. When did you figure out, this idea is out there, people are recognizing this work that I'm doing? At what point in time?
At the point in time
did you realize that? Yeah.
I think it was at the point in time where I started getting referrals from where I least expected.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, really? Me?
Wow.
And then I started getting emails, calls from different organizations who wanted to partner with me.
Right.
And I'm like, am I doing something? Even when I started, these were some organizations that I reached out to and my emails were ignored.
Wow. So yeah, definitely.
And then I started receiving emails. I'm like, and you know what? Claire is somebody that you can read as a book. I'm a very open book. And when I'm responding back to them, I always tell them. Sometimes I copy my email. I'm like, I sent you an email 2 years ago.
Right.
And this was your response. I sent you an email 1 year ago and my email was ignored. But I'm happy you're coming to me because
that is not a bad thing at all.
Yeah. It shows that I'm doing something relevant for my community. Exactly. And the height of the recognition that I got that actually prompted me to continue to do this and to do more and to find other avenues, other things I could do for the communities was when I was actually reached out by Calgary Foundation.
Okay.
I sent a proposal to them for grants, and they called us to come and defend the proposal. I'm like, okay, that's a step closer to getting the fund.
Nice.
And then when we went to defend the proposal in front of 15 approvers, they were shocked at what we were doing because we've been doing that we only got that funding last year.
Wow.
So we've been doing that for a couple of years with my salary. And they were shocked that, oh, you've been doing this with your own money and donations from friends? I said, yes. I said, but so they said, oh, didn't you apply for funding immediately? I said, no. They said, why? I said, the reason being that I have to have my story to tell before I look for funding. I said, if I don't have a story to tell that I was actually doing it on my own, with my own money, you probably wouldn't listen to me. You would think, oh, okay, what has she done?
Right.
And then I come here and I'm like, oh, I'm just starting out and I want to use your money to do. And you understand, they'll be like, oh no. But because I have my story, I have done this, I think, years before.
Right.
I said, yeah, this is time for me to apply for grants because I have a story to tell. And one of the stories that I told during that proposal was a woman who was referred to by one of the doctor's clinic in Calgary, a woman who was 54-year-old woman, pregnant with twins. And she had nobody because the person she was speaking to before she got to Canada stopped picking her calls. And she was alone with twins at 54. High risk. Well, she got referred and we supported her with food. We supported her with free accommodation.
Wow.
So those are the kind of things that we do for our women. Yes. So I think that recognition being put on the back page or the front page of Calgary Foundation magazine, I think actually now brought me more into limelight because I think after then was when Alberta Health Services started calling, and all of that, which was amazing, really amazing. Even though before then, to form part of our story, I think it was 2021 Christmas. We said, what can we do for the community and for the children?
Now, what can the community do for us? What can we do?
What can we do? And you know what?
Like that.
I reached out to my friends and I said, I want to do a diaper drive for Alberta Children's Hospital.
Wow.
Of which we did. I had good number of people who supported me in that. There's a good friend of mine, a mentor that we started. She has her own organization. I have mine. We kind of started my organization together and we started hers together. Her name is Pastor D. Adekube. She formed a good part of my organization. And together we did diaper drive. And another pastor friend, Pastor Wumi. And we actually got 100 boxes of diapers.
Oh, this was during COVID?
This was during COVID.
Wow.
Diapers, toys, books, and crayons. And Alberta Children's Hospital were shocked because at that time, due to logistics, diapers were very scarce. And for us to give them which I didn't even know because I don't have babies, so I don't know if diapers were. But I just felt, what can we do to celebrate with children in the hospital during Christmas time?
Wow.
To tell them that the community thinks about you during this period, not just your family. And it was huge. We actually got a good letter of, saying that our organization was the first to do such for them. Right. So
giving back,
giving back, exactly. So now we are in the limelight, like I mentioned. So many people want to associate with us because we provide culturally appropriate support, depending on wherever you come from.
Amazing, Claire. So what one challenge do you face as an organization?
The challenge we face, aside from funding, of which that is paramount to everybody, the challenge we face is how we can actually have a place of our own where women will come together.
Okay.
You're tired, maybe you're tired and you need somebody to look after the baby.
Yeah.
We want a place where we can have like a communal living.
Okay.
Where we look after your baby, the volunteers, we look after your baby. You want to sleep for the next 5 hours, we take care of that. Or you want to go shopping without,
Yeah.
having the stroller,
Yeah.
go for your shopping. You want to
Wow.
visit your friend,
Right.
go visit your friend while we support you. So we're looking at, so that's a big challenge for us because
Okay.
it's something we want to do. And another challenge for us is, like I mentioned, funding, which is
Yeah.
very huge. We need more volunteers. Volunteers, not just by name, dedicated volunteers.
Right.
On the volunteer team, we have 50 women. But active volunteers, I would say probably like 15 of them.
That's not a lot.
That's not
for
a lot.
all what you've shared
That's
here
exactly.
today. Yeah.
So we need more people. We need more hands on deck.
To speak to our Edmontonians, Calgarians, Canadians,
Yes,
how
so
they can support
and the good
your
thing,
organization.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I will appeal to mothers, even fathers, who feel that they want to give back to the community. They want to do something remarkable for their people, to join us in supporting our women, supporting our families, in giving back to them and making sure that they actually make Calgary, Edmonton, home away from home for them to have a better life. And that's the reason why we are all immigrating from our countries.
That's right. So you take all kinds of donations, right?
We take all kinds of donations. We take diapers, we take clothing, we take baby gears, we take money.
And time,
and
volunteers.
Volunteers, So anything that has to do with families, we take food, culturally appropriate food. And yes, and even sometimes we ask for bus passes for those who get on the bus, taxi passes for those who will be on the bus, because most of the time we actually put our women on Uber and we pay for that as well.
And what's the website?
My website is www.antsliftinghearts.ca. And we have Instagram handle is the same thing, Ants Lifting Hearts. On Facebook, it's Ants Lifting Hearts. On Twitter, it's Ants Lifting Hearts.
There you go. So you have the information that you need to, check out the organization and support as much as you're able to.
And if you need to send an email, it's info@antsliftinghearts.ca. Or you send to Clare_Jaguna at antsliftinghearts.ca.
So in one word, as we begin to round up, how would you describe some of your experiences, Claire? Some of what you've shared with us today, and basically, your ongoing support to our women and children and families out there.
Fulfilling.
That's a good one. And why is that?
Because, like I mentioned, our support, our service, our programs are very unique, tailored towards our women. There's so much of empowerment. There's so much of this. There's so much of that going on in the community. But when you look at what we do specifically, it's very unique to our women. And the moment that we are in the labor room and the baby is out, and the woman looks at any of my volunteers, including myself, with a smile on her face and says, "Thank you. You are doing what my mom could have done." That's just too, that's just too much for me, because it's a support that no other person could have if we were not, because it's not something that ordinarily, maybe you have a friend that could do that.
Yeah.
But when you know your friend, but when people who you don't know
absolutely
are giving you the support, and you are able to have a smile on your face and say those words and say thank you after going through so much pain, and the next thing is a smile saying thank you, that's just it for me. It makes my day anytime it happens. Or maybe they call in and say, oh, Mama, I got the food. Oh my God, you gave me fish pepper soup. Oh, you
Wow.
gave me this. Oh, she came to visit me. Oh, she brought groceries. I can't believe this. Oh, you sent me money. And I'm like, that's where we are here. That's where we are here. That's what we want to do. And that's what we are doing.
Right.
To make sure that we're giving you that African village motherhood support.
Oh,
even if you're a
that's
Russian,
profound.
we're still giving you the
That's
African
right.
village motherhood
That's
support.
right. It's all about community.
Yes.
And what would be a key message? I see how fulfilled, like even you just like pouring your heart, I could tell how much that means to you. What key message would you send out to our viewers today if you're thinking about doing something? It doesn't have to be an organization, but anything. What would that key message
The
be?
key message is from me to anyone watching, if you are not doing something, make sure that when you come across anybody of any color, it's not by accident. There's a purpose for your paths meeting. And I will say, always ask, how can I help you? How can I support you? Even at your workplaces, make sure that you are impacting lives, no matter what. Because the way you get blessed is not just by praying alone. Pay it forward. It might not even just be you that's going to reap their fruits, right?
That's right.
It might be your kids. It might be your friend, your grandkids.
That's right.
Right? It might be anybody. So for me personally, I will tell you, don't think about yourself. Think about the next person. And I think I got that from my dad. My dad will tell you, if I give you two things, the two things I'm giving you, they are not yours alone. I'm giving you two so you can have one. You give one to the other person who doesn't have. I inherited that from my dad. And I will tell you, there's something special from every parent that a child can actually inherit. Not money, not properties.
Right.
Growing up, there must have been something, there must have been a seed that you will see in your parent. A legacy that you can carry on from your parents. And that's what I am doing.
It's amazing.
Not just because I'm looking after women and children. My dad was not looking after women and children.
Wow.
My dad was looking after priests and the reverend sisters in the Catholic community.
Okay.
But he was looking after other people that he comes across.
Yeah.
He was looking after my friends who were schooling in my town. While I was not even schooling in my town, I needed only to introduce them to my dad. And I'll be like, oh, they are in the university here. And my dad will be, oh, so you school here. Okay, this is your home.
Oh.
Don't say because your friend is not here, you're not going to come here. Please
Right.
feel free to come anytime. This is your new home.
That's nice.
And to the extent that when my dad died and we read his will, in his will, it said, if you children sell all my properties, make sure you don't sell the house that you all grew in. Do not sell the house. Anybody coming into town that don't have a place to stay, open the doors to them, feed them, put a roof over their head, and never ask them, when are they leaving?
Wow.
So what we have done is we have a cook and a gardener that we pay from the company business to stay in the house. So if you have somebody who's going to my town and say, oh, is there a new hotel that I will foster you? You don't need to stay in an hotel.
Wow.
That's my house for you to stay. And we make sure, my dad is passed away now, 28 years. That legacy is
It's
still standing.
Wow.
And we don't intend to change it.
Thanks for honoring him.
I think that's the only thing, because he gave us the education.
Right.
And I think for him to ask for that one thing from us,
Right.
I think he deserves it.
Wow. I can see that seed was planted way years ago
Yes.
by your parents, specifically your dad.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Claire.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thanks for being here. And we do appreciate you sharing your story. I'm sure our viewers are inspired. And like I said, again, being my husband and I were both healthcare professionals, by the way. So just knowing there's a safe place for these women to go to.
Yes.
It mitigates that revolving door syndrome. So for, if someone with C-section is going home and you want to avoid some of those complications, you better have a supportive environment.
Exactly.
So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to your team. Thanks, Auntie Betty.
Yes.
She's found a way to use her retiree days.
Oh my God. That's
and
why
to all the team, we appreciate
always
you all.
surprised sometimes when I say, oh, there's somebody going to the labor room.
Yeah.
And she just message me, where?
Right
what time? Okay, tell her I will be there. So Mama Betty, thank you. And to everyone who has supported Hands Lifting Hearts in one way or the other, if I could just mention a few of them.
Absolutely.
Juta of Calgary Pregnancy Care, thank you so much. Pastor D of Ruth House, thank you so much. CACC members, thank you so much. Daibo Consulting, thank you so much. There are just too many. For everyone who has stood up, for all my volunteers, Mama Betty, Mary, Miriam, AUs, everyone who has been volunteering for Hands Lifting Hearts. That I can't remember to mention names now, but you know yourself, all the women in the volunteer team, thank you so much. Everyone who has stood up to support, thank you so much. For everyone who have referred people to organization, to Hands Lifting Hearts, from AHS to Doctors Clinic to my doctors, Dr. Ike, thank you so much. To Dr. Sheyi, thank you so much. For all my board members, thank you so much. And to you, thank you so much, and to your husband as well for inviting me in, for people to know a little bit more about my organization through your podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We do appreciate. And if we forget to say thank you, you're loved. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. I'm sure you might be doing something, or you're thinking of doing something. You see how fulfilling it is for Claire. She's having tears of joy. So keep doing what you're doing. And if you haven't started yet, what you have in mind, just get it started. Just get moving, okay? That is our encouragement to you today.
And I could say that never be afraid to start something new. You just need to start it, and everything will fall in line. If you start, you fall, and you feel, oh, it's not for me, stand up, think of something else, and you start it again. But if you fall and you think this is something for me, dust yourself and move on. You are a step closer to your goal.
That's right.
So never be afraid, and never, never be afraid to ask for help. Never be afraid to look for information. Information is very key.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's power.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. And again, if you're new, hit the subscribe button and join our community. As I always say, it's our lives and it's our story. Until we meet again, have a good evening. Say bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.